Hello and welcome to the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast. My name is Eric Herlock. Today I am going to take you to a Hempcrete workshop in Berks County, Pennsylvania, where Cameron McIntosh from Americhanvre Cast-Hemp just hosted a 4-day hands-on training session. So today we're going to talk to some of the people at the workshop. Sure, we'll talk to Cameron, but we're also going to talk to Danny Desjardins from the Lower Sioux Indian community, Damien Baumer, the creator of the Ereasy Spray system, Tim Callahan, a Hempcrete pioneer from North Carolina, and a whole host of other people. So lots of voices today, and to be honest, varying degrees of sound quality. So thank you for your patience on that. All right, we're going to take a quick sponsor break and then come back with a few nuggets of hemp news. This episode is brought to you in part by I&D Hemp in Fort Benton, Montana, where they believe in the goodness of hemp. I&D Hemp is a family-owned, mission-driven, and environmentally focused industrial hemp food, feed, and fiber company, providing new opportunities for farmers and rural communities. Their mission is to provide innovative agricultural products and services to connect American farmers with the pioneers and businesses that see hemp as a way to bring real and lasting change to our communities and planet. Learn more at indhemp.com. This episode is brought to you in part by King's Agri-Seeds, where they believe in the power of soil health. For over 25 years, King's Agri-Seeds has focused on crop management systems to promote diversity in soil life. For over 10 years, they've been pioneering the use of diverse rotation-specific cover crops. And for 5 years now, they've been working with the leading hemp seed providers and growers. King's Agri-Seeds' knowledge, ability, and service can make a difference on your farm. Give them a call today at 717-687-6224 or go to kingsagriseeds.com to learn more.
The KP4 Hemp Cutter, introducing a revolution in hemp harvesting, setting a new standard for harvesting quality, speed, and efficiency. The KP4 prepares hemp for ideal retting and easy on-field tedding, raking, and baling. Easy to maintain and designed to withstand the punishments of hemp harvesting. The KP4 Hemp Cutter. Available only at hempcutter.com.
All right, welcome back. I got a couple of nuggets of hemp news for you this week. Today is May 1st, 2024. The big news this week is coming out of Washington, D.C. I read this story on the Associated Press's website. The headline reads, U.S. poised to ease restrictions on marijuana in historic shift, but it'll remain a controlled substance. So the story says that the DEA will move to reclassify marijuana as a less dangerous drug, a historic shift to generations of American drug policy that could have wide ripple effects across the country. The proposal, which still must be reviewed by the White House Office of Management and Budget, will recognize the medical uses of cannabis and acknowledge it has less potential for abuse than some of the nation's most dangerous drugs. However, it would not legalize marijuana outright for recreational use. The agency's move, confirmed to the AP on Tuesday by 5 people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive regulatory change, clears the last significant regulatory hurdle before the agency's biggest policy change in more than 50 years can take effect. I will put a link up to this story on the show page for this episode, but I'm assuming you've already heard this news. It's really interesting. I am curious how this is going to play out across the various sectors of the cannabis space. Is this the thing that the FDA was waiting for before they make a ruling on CBD? I don't know, but I'm curious, so we'll keep an eye on this story. I have a personal hemp news nugget to share with you. A couple of months ago, Patrick Atagi was on the show. He's from the National Industrial Hemp Council. And when he was on the show, he invited me to be part of a USDA delegation to the European Industrial Hemp Association's Expo in Prague in June. Well, it's official. I bought a ticket. I bought a hotel room. I am going to Prague in just about 5 weeks. All right, so yeah, here it is. Today's May 1st. All right, so at the beginning of June, I'm headed to Prague. And with that in mind, I want to sort of introduce a new segment here on the show. And I'm tentatively calling it, What Does Eric Know About Prague? Well, right now, very little. Okay, I know Prague is in Central Europe. It's in the Czech Republic. When I was a kid, that was Czechoslovakia. I know from my German literature classes in college that Prague is where Franz Kafka lived and wrote all of his crazy stories. So yeah, I guess really what I'm saying is at this point, I know very little about Prague, but next week I'm going to tell you some things that I learned. And then the week after that, maybe I'll tell you more things. And so when I finally get to Prague in about 5 weeks, I'll know something about it. All right? So that's it. Oh, wait, one more thing. I got a phone call this morning from Greg Wilson down there in Kentucky, down at Hempwood. He reminded me that the Kentucky Derby is coming up. I guess it's this weekend, and it's pretty cool. But the Kentucky Derby is not the coolest thing in Kentucky. It turns out Hempwood is. Right, so if you need some hemp flooring or whatever, go check out hempwood.com. All right, so that's it for the news nuggets, although that sounded more like an advertisement than a news nugget. But hey, what are you going to do? All right, so this week I went up to the Hempcrete workshop there at Americhanvre Cast-Hemp at the shop up there in Berks County. I talked to a lot of people. I saw some old friends. I made some new friends. Really a great group of individuals. I can't say enough about sort of the quality of education you get at these workshops that are hosted by Cameron and his wife, Melissa. You'll hear Cameron talk about it, but it's the kind of thing that you learn more than just like hands-on stuff on how to use the spray-apply system. You also learn about how to run a successful business, how to bid on jobs, all that kind of thing. So they do a really good job of putting these educational things together. So when the next one comes around, you should go to it. So I interviewed a handful of people at the workshop itself. And then on the final day of the workshop, there was a field trip down to a Hempcrete house just outside of Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And I happened to live very close to there. So I met the crew there. So some of these interviews were recorded in a Hempcrete house. It's John Price's Hempcrete house. So we'll even talk to John himself. All right, so a lot in store for you here. I will stop rambling and let you listen to these. Cameron, how many people are at this thing?
Yeah, so this is our biggest single training. We have 14 active participants, and then we also have Damien and Celine here. We have Naveed Hatfield and Danny Desjardins, who are all here helping to run the workshop. So big group, about 20 people all said and done.
How far have they traveled to be here?
Man, well, Damien and Celine flew across the pond, obviously.
France, yeah.
But we have a couple guys here from California. We've got people from New Mexico or Arizona. Is it Sandy? Did you talk to Sandy?
Didn't talk to Sandy.
North Carolina, Nebraska.
Way up in British Columbia.
All over the place. British Columbia, yeah, almost Alaska.
All right. So you were awarded a grant last year. Does this training workshop, is that connected to that at all?
Yes and no. I would say that the purpose of the Small Business Innovation Research Program within the DoD and elsewhere is to commercialize your technology in your company, and not only in the private sector, but also publicly. So arguably, yes, it is, but not supported by any of that funding. This is something that we do every year. This is our third year doing it in our fourth class so far. Okay. Can you briefly explain your growth strategy for the company? Sure. Yeah. So there's been a heavy focus on that recently, and I think the direction obviously we're moving in with the Ereasy system is moving towards a franchise model where we're not yet charging owner-operators a royalty the way that you would find in a franchise model because the industry is so nascent. But we are giving them the support that you would find in a franchise type relationship with the franchisee, having the opportunity to come and train with the people that are distributing the system, right? So in this training, we teach more than just running the machine. We also teach estimating and bidding. We teach accounting. We give the participants tools that they would need not only to run the system, but also to run a successful business around it. So this is sort of the early stage of a franchise type of arrangement, which is what we're working on. But the panels that we're spraying here in the workshop, we may actually end up trying to find property here in Pennsylvania and start building hempcrete houses for people. And not for people, building hempcrete houses to build them and turn around and list them on the open market, which I think is really important. Because as of right now, Eric, you can't go to your real estate agent buddy and say, hey, I want to see a healthy, sustainable home. They don't exist. So,
All right. Thank you, Cameron.
Cheers, Eric. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, bud. First, could you introduce yourself?
My name's Tim Callahan. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, and the founder of Olympic Studio and Callahan Design.
Okay. Is it true that you built the first hempcrete house in America?
We pulled the first permit. We didn't finish it first. Yeah.
Can you tell me about that house?
That house, it started out, it didn't start out to be a hempcrete house. It started out as my partner at the time and I wanted to build the most energy efficient, structure residence that we possibly could. And we did a lot of research and decided we were going to use passive house metrics as a standard, energy standard. And in the course of the design development, we started thinking this is too complicated. There are all these German methods and specialized materials that we were going to have to import. And somebody introduced us to hempcrete, and my initial reaction was negative because I knew nothing about it. But after looking into it...
Was there a connotation with the cannabis plant?
No, that wasn't it at all. I've just done a lot of work in the natural building world, and often people think there's a magic bullet solution to all of our societal ills, if I build with this. And it's not, I've been in the building trades for 45 years, and nothing's that simple. So, I was skeptical. But after research, we looked into it for 2 or 3 months and decided that it's really solved all the issues that we were concerned with. And that became that was the Now House prototype in Asheville. And
what year did you build it?
That was 2009, 2010.
Okay. And where were you getting the hemp from?
At that time, the only place we were aware of that we could get it was England, from Tradical. There's a company, Lime Technologies, in England. And so we imported it from there, and Ian Pritchett, who was the owner of that company, came over to help us with some of the logistics, because there was nobody who knew anything about how to do this. Right. And, since then, this is my first experience with spraying. Okay. I've done quite a number of cast-in-place projects, and we've evolved that system to be about 2.5 times more efficient than our first project.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But still casting in place, though?
Yeah. Okay. But I'm really excited about this. This is a game changer, really. It's not everything. I'm sure it's not perfect for every application, but I think it's going to make this, as Cameron says, it kind of democratizes this. It'll make it more accessible to more people. So it's pretty exciting.
All right, so tell me your name.
My name's Henry Valles.
And where are you from?
I'm from Austin, Texas.
Okay. And what brings you here? Wait, let me guess. You're a real estate developer, and you want to learn about sustainable housing opportunities?
No. Kind of close. I'm a real estate broker, looking to get involved with more healthy, sustainable development, but been involved with was first introduced to hemp building in 2014. And have been to many workshops, and I've always been really supportive and encouraged by the Spray-Applied application that CAM has been promoting here in the States.
Okay. And Are you building with hemp down in Austin?
I have built a house. I built a tiny home for a homeless community called Community First Village.
Okay.
And I'm looking to partner with architects and builders in the same mindset, and bringing my knowledge of Hempcrete to encourage them to design them in their projects.
Okay.
I helped co-found the U.S. Hemp Building Association with Cameron. I was part of the Hemp Industry Association, the Texas chapter, to help get industrial hemp legalized in Texas as well. So once I learned about hemp building through the hemp building workshop I did, I was very inspired to help bring hemp to legalization and then encourage the building industry to build healthier, more sustainable homes.
Cool. Can you talk about like one or two things that you found really useful about this training?
Yeah, the just getting hands-on experience on how much more rapid it is than cast in place. I've done many cast in place workshops, and I've also built with blocks. So I think just being able to expedite the process and it being able to cure much more quickly. And then just Cameron did an amazing job just kind of going over every detail and what to expect on a job site to really be able to fetch a good crew to be able to hopefully implement this at a reasonable cost.
So first, tell me your name.
Danny Baker.
And where are you from, Danny?
Durham, North Carolina.
Okay. And what brought you here to this workshop?
Well, I had taken part in, ultimately I want to try to build a little hemp house in the mountains in North Carolina, and I took the Mastermind Home Builders course that Gene Lotus started.
Yeah.
It was great. Unfortunately, I only did half of it because I had life experience and I missed a couple.
Gets in the way, yeah.
I'm going to do it again. But in the half time that I had taken it, I saw Cameron doing his demonstration of Ereasy spray technique, and I thought, wow, that is super cool. I want to learn how to do that.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be taking a class in June with Tim Callahan and April with the block building or the block hemp. But I wanted to take both courses, kind of compare it, see,
cool.
just
And
learn,
so,
educate myself.
Give me an example of something that you learned here today.
Oh gosh, this weekend it's not as easy as it looks, but it is. I really love the technique. I love the process. I think it's much quicker. I feel that it would shorten the time frame for me for my little house. I learned honestly, well, I already knew this, that this plant is remarkable and it's going to do so many things for the world. But this weekend, I learned that, I'm a badass. I can't believe I did this, I mean, 3 days straight of this, and
Can you describe the work that you were doing?
It was, yes, doing the spray technique on the Hempcrete. We had 3 days where we built our walls up. And so we learned how to work on the equipment, every spot, every portion of the equipment, and then how to also on the spray end, how to apply. And it's funny because both Cam and Damien have two different styles of instruction. So I feel that we got the best of both worlds.
How would you say, what's the difference?
I say Damien is more side to side to side. Cam goes more lateral. I think Damien focuses on more Cam was more of a hands-off. He would show you and then kind of stand back and let you try it out and then correct you, as he was viewing it. And Damien was more hands-on with helping with the actual lance and how to spray. And he was really great about pointing at the little holes. I was getting in the rhythm, going back and forth, but then he'd point out how to get in behind those corners and fill them in properly. And it's like, I'm amazed when I look at my wall that I did that it started off with just literally a empty frame, and now we look at it, we got this awesome wall.
My name is Denzel Sutherland Wilson, or Neelachax, from Kispiox, Gixan people, northern British Columbia.
Okay. And what brought you here?
I came to learn how to spray hempcrete and just see if this might be something that could help us back where I come from.
Tell me about what what you need back home?
We need a lot more houses, a lot more healthy homes, and we need people to start looking for some new stuff, new solutions.
Yeah, because this old shit's not working out too good, is it?
No, we got we have a lot of poorly insulated and overcrowded houses and mold issues, and this hemp seems like it could be address a lot of issues in the housing realm, poorly built houses that don't last very long, by people that aren't from our community. So that's something we're definitely thinking about, because we have a lot of people that are also houseless and don't have homes and can't live in our community because we don't have enough homes as it stands. Yeah.
Can you talk about the work that Danny and the Lower Sioux are doing and how that maybe is it inspired you, or what do you think about what they're doing down there for their people?
Yeah, 100%. I would say it's inspiring. Like it's, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. Definitely makes it seem like a real thing, and that we're not crazy. But I've seen them actually, working together in their community to make this happen, and I've seen that it's working for them and they're making it work. So, and it's they've provided lots of support. Danny's come up to visit us, and that we did a little bit of cast in place and just shared some of his knowledge and experience. So, and I went to go visit Minnesota once. Yeah. And did a plaster workshop and picked up some skills. But he connected me with Cameron, and it's just shared along the way what works for them and what hasn't, and who's good people and who's maybe potentially looking to take advantage or bring their own interests into trying to solve our own community's problems, or see that as an opportunity, right? So it's really, we're investigating this because we want to be able to do this, create, solve, make our lives better in our community, and housing is just vital to that. That's like the foundation for everything, it feels like. So
yeah. Can you tell me more about what you do up in that part of the world? It's just, are you in mountains? Are you by the ocean, or what's it like up there?
Well, we live. My community of Kispiox is at the confluence of the Skeena and the Kispiox River, the Kshan and the Xian Spaya rivers, and that's where we live in the valley, right? But there's mountains surrounding all of us and creeks flowing into the rivers, and we're about 300 kilometers from the ocean up the Skeena River.
Okay.
Which the mouth of the Skeena River is comes out by Prince Rupert, and just north of that is the Alaskan Panhandle.
Okay.
So you're up there.
Yeah.
Your name's Cliff the Gardener?
That's right.
Do you want to go by any other name?
That's it.
Okay.
That's the one.
All right. What brings you here today?
Hemp is going to change the world.
Where are you from?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah?
That's right. Cherry on the spoon, baby.
Do you know Danny?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's my brother.
Did you travel out with him?
No, not brother from another mother, but the same creator father.
Right. So what'd you learn today? Or not today, but like over the past couple days?
Teamwork makes the dream work, man. None of us are nothing without each other. But hemp is a very holistic approach. I love the fact that it's going to replace so many god-awful building materials that are destroying our earth. In Minneapolis, where I'm from, I'm a descendant of slave, and I'm also a descendant of Cherokee Nation. And my brother was the first male born off of a plantation, and I was the second. And our father was the last male born on a plantation. And so it's really huge for us, because when our family migrated from Portersville, Missouri, which also migrated from Tennessee, when our family came to North Minneapolis, it was a different society. and they redlined the community, mortgages, and and the ability to own, and
Systemic white supremacy built into the system. Yeah.
at the highest capacity up in Minnesota. But lynchings and all that stuff, I grew up knowing about these things. Murder capital of the world, mystery in Murderapolis when I was growing up. Seen a lot of horrible things, but most horrible is the blight with vacant lots and also slumlords. And so building material is, architects failed us. Engineers failed us as a society. But after building the George Floyd Memorial Gardens on behalf of Mr. Floyd and their family, a building inspector in Shell Lake, Wisconsin, Berks County, came and suggested that on the land that I have there, the 50 acres I have, to build community, to go learn earthships. And so he said that if I went and learned earthship, that he would, and graduated their 3-level course, that he would write any type of building code that I needed, and I'd have to teach him as the lead building inspector of Wisconsin. So George Floyd Square Community financed me to go learn. Earthship Community took me in, gave me a free scholarship. I graduated with flying colors immediately. I became a foreman, but I kept telling Rory Moreland and Phil Basehart of Earthship Community we should be leaning towards hemp. They had built hay bale homes. They had built many other things on their housing development properties in Taos and off in the mountains where Rory lives, but none of them did hemp. And so I was on a journey to figure out where that was and how to do it. And one day, my fiance saw a news break on Danny down in the Lower Sioux, and I called him. I didn't even know the Lower Sioux existed prior to that. And I went down there, and their people embraced me. It was November of 2023, and
Just last year.
and then I'm taking off. So we have a contract to build tiny homes to end homelessness in Minneapolis, and we're shooting for 2026. We didn't see how that was possible with the housing fires that take place in the upper Midwest from the old structures built out of dilapidated wood. It's like a matchbox. And so as we were seeing this, I'm like, we're going to build tiny homes for possible drug addicts in little tiny matchboxes, upcycled wood and all kinds of different things. And so finding Danny was like saving homeless people in addition to the humanitarian work we were already looking to do. So Danny made an announcement to the world saying that he was going to work with a guy from Minneapolis to end homelessness by 2026 with hemp. And so we figured out how to do the production rate, how many people it would take to do this. And so this is basically, me being here is basically him commissioning me to go do the work.
Awesome.
So the things that I'm learning here is that Cameron built an economy for him and his family that can build economies for many families. Because it's so needed everywhere. Retrofitting, new builds, I'm Cliff the gardener, the agricultural side. So yeah,
Cool.
I learned a lot.
Thank you for sharing that, Cliff. So those were the interviews that I conducted up there at the workshop itself up in Berks County. That was on Monday, April 29th. And then what you're about to hear are the collection of interviews I conducted at John Price's Hempcrete house just outside of Pottstown. And this was yesterday, April 30th. And we'll first hear Cameron McIntosh.
So we're at John Price's house down here in Pottstown, PA. It's our most local project ever. This is the only one I got to go home at the end of the day and go back to my house and my family.
Nice. Can you describe the house, like square footage, that sort of thing?
Yeah, what is it? I think it's about a 1,500 square foot house, really beautifully designed timber frame, wrapped with hempcrete on the outside, passive solar design principles. So there's a big bank of windows facing south that catch the low level sun rays in the winter. He's got actual solar panels, high efficiency heating system. There's radiant floor tubing in the floor here, man. And I just can't get over how incredible it feels in this house. It's about 80 degrees outside right now, not a comfortable 80 degrees. and it feels fantastic in here, like almost like I need a sweater on, and there's no heating and air conditioning on. So this is actually one of the 6 houses that we'll be studying with Penn State for our U.S. Army research. So this will become another data point similar to Project PA Hemp Home.
How do you do those measurements? Do you have like sensors built in the house?
Yeah, so Ali, Dr. Mamari and his team came up with this method, and it starts with an in-field thermal resistance test. So that same test that we did in the laboratory a couple of years ago, you remember, where we got our R-value test? We'll be doing that in situ, which is actually a much more accurate depiction because it's a finished wall assembly in situ. So that's the first part of that test. They'll come in here and they'll establish what the actual in-field R-value thermal resistance is of the finished wall assembly. And then they'll rig an array of sensors that will monitor interior and exterior temperature and humidity over the course of about 6 months. And we'll get some really great data from that. And I already know it's going to be compelling just by walking in here. We don't need Dr. Mamari to tell us how fantastic this house is performing right now, do we?
Nope. It's good. All right. What else do you want to tell us about either the workshop or the house, the field trip? Whatever.
Man, this is 2 years ago after our first training. We brought Damien and Celine over here. Matt Marino helped us too from Homeland Hempcrete. And we sprayed this house together as a team. And bringing back the following year, the group that we had for our training, and then again this year has been really special to see John's progress and get to share at the end of a workshop, a finished project that we've done is really, really important. So, and it's making me want to build a house. My goodness, does it make me want to build a house?
I can't believe that was 2 years ago because I was here when you sprayed it.
That's
but
right.
I would have guessed it was last year. But
I know. Remember, it's hemp years, Eric. They're like dog years.
My name is Naveed Hatfield. I'm living in Massachusetts, Western Mass, Amherst, and I've been there for 20 years.
Nice.
And let's see, I've been in the Hempcrete world now since I think 2018, 2019.
Okay, what drew you in?
I'm a big advocate of cannabis as a plant and as a force for good on this planet, and a plant that we have a lot to learn from, and who is like very generous in what she offers us as like medicine, and medicine for our every need, so that's kind of my general kind of spirit behind it. And honestly, Emperor Wears No Clothes, Jack Herrera lays out 10,000 uses for cannabis, and I'm 14 years old and smoking a joint, thinking like, this is the coolest freaking thing. You can build a house out of weed. Like, this is so cool. Obviously far more with years I have a greater nuanced understanding of what hempcrete is, and building with hemp. And so I've been working with Hempstone in Northampton.
That's Tom Ross Mossler?
Tom Ross Mossler and Jennifer Martin, yeah. Okay. And we've also been really cooperative and connected to Cameron and Americhanvre. And so we sort of collaboratively have been doing projects now for 3 or 4 years. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron speaks very highly of you, just like he loves when you're there on the crew, because you just keep it rolling, right?
Yeah. It's I say hemping ain't easy. It is hard work and a hard. Usually we're sort of parachuting in for a long week to get all of our everything done, our prep, our actual work, dealing with any sort of what comes along with that, which is equipment breakdowns and, weather and all sorts of things that we have to, overcome. Okay. And so, the days are long, the days are hard, but really incredibly worthy. It's like a really worthy thing that I feel that I'm doing. You can walk away, you see what you've done, and that there's greater meaning even, to like what does every hempcrete house mean to both the industry at large, and also to infiltrating into mainstream, really starting to embrace regenerative technologies that can support us through climate change, climate crisis, etc. Right. And the sort of the cultural and the knowledge base, like having Hempcrete be a word that people know what it means when you say the word Hempcrete will be amazing when that day comes, Right. But
do you have any sense of like how many houses you've worked on, or how many how much, how do I say this? Like square footage of Hempcrete you've installed?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any metrics around?
I should sit down and actually calculate, but I don't. Maybe tens of thousands.
Okay. So I am here with Damien and Denzel. Denzel's going to act as a translator for us. You're from British Columbia?
That's right.
All right. And Damien is from France?
Franche-Comté.
Okay. And you are, how do we say it? You invented the spray method?
Yes. In 2014, I started the research and development for this process. And 2017, the process was okay. Sorry with my English.
Sorry, translate.
Et j'ai rencontré Cam un building summit d'Alidao.
Okay.
You understand?
On 2017?
2019.
Okay. He met Cam McIntosh in 2019 at the summit.
For the first summit of OS Building Association in America.
Yeah.
And Cameron said he wanted to develop this system in America for a big Ereasy system, US Ereasy system. And,
you want to say that in French and then you can tell me?
No, it's better. Et donc, Cam était très intéressé pour développer le système en Amérique. Et donc, on est en partenariat depuis 2020, pour 2020, oui, je comprends. Pour le développement ici. Donc, il peut développer en Nord-Amérique, Amérique du Nord, le système Ereasy.
Okay. So, he started research and development on the system in 2014, and then 2017 he was using it, and then in 2019 he met Cameron at the U.S. Hemp Building Builders Summit, the first one, I guess, and then 2020 Cam started wanting to distribute it here in the United States, and they started working together on that.
In France, how many people are using this system?
Oh, pas beaucoup. En France, il n'y a que moi qui en fais beaucoup dans ma région. Et on en développe un petit peu dans la France, mais la France est très petite par rapport aux États-Unis. Et donc il y a des machines plutôt en Europe. Il y en a en Irlande, en Allemagne, en Danemark, Suède. En France, il n'y a que 2 machines.
Okay. Yeah, so in France, there's only 2 machines, and he does most of the work in his area, and there's just a much smaller market there, I guess, compared to the United States. But there's a lot of machines in other countries throughout Europe as well, like Denmark, Switzerland, Germany. He was naming a few. Ireland, yeah, I missed one maybe too, but yeah.
Okay. So you're excited about Cameron's strategy and growth here in the U.S.?
Est-ce que vous excité, est-ce que vous heureux avec le développement que Cameron a fait et son stratégie dans le US?
Très honnêtement, c'est un guerrier. Cameron est un guerrier.
Yeah.
Il a fait un énorme travail en très peu d'années, depuis 2021, donc ça fait 3 ans, où il travaille vraiment sur le projet. Et il a fait un travail énorme. Tout le monde en Amérique connaît le système Ereasy maintenant.
Yeah. So he said, really, Cameron's a warrior. Cameron's a warrior. He's been fighting since the last 3 years nonstop to make this happen, and he's really happy to see a lot of people in the States all know Ereasy, and he's been really growing. He's been working like really nonstop. Yeah.
Right. Thoughts on the Army grant, the SBRI grant?
Est-ce que Cameron a parlé d'un grant comme la monnaie d'un contrat avec l'armée des États-Unis comme les guerrières de.
Maybe Cameron didn't tell him about the money.
Je pense que pour en arriver là, c'était un gros travail.
Yeah.
Il fallait faire un énorme travail pour avoir cette aide qui va l'aider pour l'avenir et développer le système. Donc oui, effectivement, c'est très très bien ça.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, he did hear about it, and he's like, it's good work. That's what he's saying. It's good work, and like, it'll be helpful to have that development and you know, support in that. He thinks it'll be a good development. But yeah, that's basically.
All right. And then one more. The house that we're in, you sprayed most of. What are your thoughts of the house now? This house that we're in.
Yeah.
He did a lot of work.
You sprayed this house?
Yeah.
And then what was the second part?
Just thoughts on how it's turning out.
Yeah. Qu'est-ce que vous pensez
de cette maison?
De cette maison, comment oui.
Eh ben, il fait très bon dedans. Il fait, je sais pas, en Fahrenheit, maybe 80 Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
Inside is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
C'est un beau travail. Il y a encore un peu de travail de finition pour John, mais on sent qu'on est dans une maison en chambre. On a le confort d'une maison en chambre, même si elle n'est pas finie, on sent quand même que la maison elle est faite naturellement. Donc c'est un très beau projet.
Yeah. So he's just saying it's a really beautiful project, and that like even you can really feel like the hemp in this house right now. Like you can feel how it's cooler and how it's so hot outside, and we're in here. So there's still some work to do, but he's really happy with how it feels and the progress. It's at this stage of the progress, how it feels. You know, you can get the sense of what it's like to be inside a hemp house.
Okay. Yeah. Ask him if he lives in a hemp house.
J'ai juste demandé cette question. I just asked him all this question. Est-ce que vous habitez en maison de chambre?
No.
So he's saying, his own house was not is not out of hemp. He invented the system, the block system of interlocking hemp blocks after he built his own house. So all his clients are living in the hemp houses, but his house is made out of blocks of rammed earth, or like some sort of earth blocks.
Like an earth chip.
I think so, but okay. Yeah, it sounds beautiful.
All right, and one more question: where in France do you live?
My village, Malbran.
Okay.
Malbran. It's a more beautiful place in Europe. Yeah. It's my village.
Yeah.
Little village. We are only 150, 150 habitants. Habitant.
Yeah. Inhabitants. Villagers.
On habite sur une colline. On domine la vallée de la Loue, qui est une petite rivière. C'est très très paisible. On est à la montagne.
Ok. Est-ce que vous pouvez répéter? Tu habites sur
une colline.
Colline. Oh, on a hill. They live on a hill overlooking the valley. And looking over and there's mountains as well. It's really beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you.
Merci. Lancaster Farming.
My name is Danny DeJarle. I'm from the Lower Sioux Indian community.
In Minnesota?
In Minnesota,
yeah.
Yes.
And so you're here this week helping Cameron with this Hempcrete workshop, yeah?
Yeah, I'm honored to be here and blessed to be a part of this whole project. This group of people is absolutely amazing. So.
And there's people from all over the place.
Yeah, from all over the country. I think even 3 other countries, and so or 3 countries total. So,
have you been to Pennsylvania before?
It's my first time in Pennsylvania.
Tell me about that.
Absolutely beautiful. And so I flew into New Jersey and drove from New Jersey to Pennsylvania, and the drive the entire way was amazing.
What are some of the differences that you notice between here and where your home is?
So where we're at home, it's green like this as well, but just the rolling hills, and I mean everywhere is hills, and it's all flat land and fields. So
cool. All right. Well, welcome to Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
What else you want to tell me about either the house we're in here, John Price's house? What are your thoughts on this?
This house is amazing, and so we've kind of been trying to figure out how we're going to build our next house, and I think we need to do a timber frame like this. I mean, maybe not so exotic with the double A frame and everything, but just try a timber frame because, look at this place. It looks amazing.
And you're a builder by trade, like carpenter.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So have you done timber frame building?
I have not. No, we've never done any timber frame. There's not really many timber frame houses in Minnesota. Usually they save them for like your lake cabins or something, Yeah, and so this is going to be. I think it's beautiful though the way it finishes compared to just your traditional stick built.
So I got to spend time with you and your crew from the Lower Sioux out at NOCO a couple weeks ago. How are those guys doing, and what are you going to tell them about this experience when you get back?
So I've already been messaging them every day and sending them pictures, but just the 2 Ereasies going at the same time is pretty incredible. And so I didn't know that was the first time at a training that he's done that, and so it was pretty cool. It was pretty loud, but it was pretty cool to see that and to actually see the type of or the amount of production that can happen when you got a group of people like this, and then when you have 2 machines like that, the production rate is just unreal. They sprayed 32 panels in less than 3 days' time. There was classroom time in there as well, and so it's incredible.
Is it practical to have 2 of these Ereasy machines on a job site?
Yeah, definitely, especially if it's a big job site. Then you wouldn't have to be moving your mixers around. Yeah, I'd say you have one Ereasy start at one end of the house, the other at the other, and you meet in the middle. I think, it would cut the time in half,
So what's the next project on the Lower Sioux?
Right now, it's I don't know exactly what the next one, but we have a few lined up, so I don't know exactly what the next one will be. But the few that we have lined up, we have a retrofit of an existing house in the community, and then also a new build of it's just a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom elder unit that would be a comparative build to houses that are already in the area that were just built this past year conventionally, and then we're going to do the same specs house out of Hempcrete, side by side, yeah.
And just bring me up to speed on what you've already accomplished there.
As far as building, or is the whole hemp thing?
The Hempcrete.
Okay, so as for building, we've only been actually building Hempcrete houses for the past 10 months now, maybe 9 to 10 months, and we've completed 3 houses, 1 spray, 1 cast in place, and 1 prefabricated panel house. And so we haven't had a day off anyway in those 10 months. But yeah, all 3 of the houses, 3 different builds. The panel house, the cast in place, and the spray. If we were to choose how we're going to build in the future or going forward, it's definitely going to be with the spray, but then I think combining that with the panelization is going to be huge. I think that's a real game changer, and I want to say it's the future of building, but the future is right now because we're doing it, and so it's now. The Hempcrete, the spray panels is now, and so.
You've gotten a lot of attention for your Hempcrete building there. I've seen stories about you and your tribe in all different places, The Guardian, all over the place. So what's that been like, getting that much attention?
Well, I think you're a little bit to thank for that. I think you were the first one to actually run a story on our project, and that was when we only had the demonstration shed before we had even done any houses. So thank you for that. It's actually been pretty incredible and kind of surprising immediate attention that we have gotten, just because we don't really put anything out there. We're not advertising anything to sell a product or sell a service even. We're just building healthier homes for our community members, and so it feels really great to get that attention and to get that praise. And right now we're kind of stopping to smell the roses, and we haven't done that the past 10 months. We've just been in the middle of it and doing the projects. NOCO 2 weeks ago was like our first chance to actually stop and be an outsider looking in, and we had all these people telling us, oh, you guys are doing such a great job, and we're just like, well, we're just doing our jobs. But then stepping outside and looking at it, it's like, wow, it is pretty incredible. And so I don't think we even know how big it is, what we're doing. It feels good. It feels really good. And then to have everybody give us praise feels even better. It makes us feel really proud of what we're doing.
What effect is the work you're doing, or what effect could it have or will it have on other indigenous communities around North America or the world?
I think it's the perfect blueprint for any tribe, but it's also the perfect blueprint for any community. It doesn't have to be an indigenous community. There's a lot of communities that had some type of industry in their community, and maybe it went under or whatever, and now with hemp being legal to grow, there's entire industries being built around it and entire markets coming online here in the United States. And so for any community that wants to give their community members jobs and even better homes or whatever product you're going to make with it, the potential for the jobs is there, and the potential to take back your community. And so I think hemp is the perfect vehicle to do that. And what we're doing is kind of a perfect blueprint, because we're showing that it doesn't have to be so expensive to build with Hempcrete. It doesn't have to be geared towards millionaires or towards the rich. We're doing it with all of our own community members, all in-house, all local, hyper-local products, hyper-local everything. And so it's making it so it's actually practical for other communities or other, tribes or whoever it is, But I think it is the perfect blueprint for tribes, just because of the not as much red tape that we have to go through, And so it's a good place to start. And but I think the thing that gets us over that hump is that we have incredible leadership that has invested into hemp, and it continues to invest into our crew and to keep building. And so I think that there's not enough spoken about that. We get a lot of praise about, the hemp guys, they're doing good, but it's really the leadership. It goes from the top down and from the bottom up. It's a full team effort.
Introduce yourself. Tell me who you are.
I'm Tina Jones from Lincoln, Nebraska. I own the General Store, which is a 1911 general store that I have retrofitted with Hempcrete blocks.
Nice. And what brings you out to this Hempcrete workshop with Cameron at Americhanvre?
Americhanvre, is that how you say that?
I say it different every time.
I don't know how to say it. Americhanvre.
Oui. You should ask Damien.
I should.
Because he's actually French.
Right, and that's actually, his company. Yeah. All that jazz.
It's all connected. Anyway,
anywho.
Back to you, Tina. Why
did I come out here? Because after my project, I've encountered a lot of demand for ways to make this a scalable project. Like, people who want to do giant skyscrapers, we're not there yet, but we are to a place where we can construct homes. And one of my most recent developments is my work with Habitat for Humanity. So that's really exciting, but they have to have a lot of testing and things. So having Cameron's already established testing, and the fact that there's government agencies involved with it lends an element of credibility. And that's what we need in order to engage these giant organizations that we can do the most good with. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah. And what are, share a couple examples of things that you learned.
Things that I've learned. Wow. That the lime in the binder that we're using with the Ereasy system is basically not caustic. No, it is. You should not mess with it without gloves, I suppose. But compared to what I'm used to using, even with the mortar between the bricks or in a cast-in-place environment, it is, I wasn't wearing gloves. I wasn't, yeah, and I was putting my hands in things, and this is 3 days of.
Okay, so.
And that was amazing. The cleanup is actually a lot easier than those other methods that as far as I've encountered. The dust level is a fraction, and that is honestly easily mitigated. Another great thing is the way that, since this is such a new burgeoning industry and this is such a new product to the United States, we were developing ways to make it better as we went, ways to use different tools, ways to put things in different places, streamlining processes, deciding it'd be really great if it had a strap on it. I don't know if you've ever sprayed with it, but I have a bruise, yeah. But that's a common thing. And so we're all kind of it's a meeting of the minds, and we're all experiencing the same things and going, okay, but how can we change that? How can we make it more user friendly? How can we, in the American market, in our specific little pockets of the United States, how does this apply here? And it's just really great to have. It's like NoCo all over again, but with we're actually doing things, like building.
Perfect.
All right, so Tim, introduce yourself to me again.
I'm the founder of Olympic Studio and Callahan Design.
And we talked a little bit yesterday, and you told me how you built one of the first hemp houses in the U.S.
Yes.
So here you are in John Price's Hempcrete house in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. What are your impressions of this?
I think it's really exciting to see, what he has done here. He's done a lot of really innovative things, thinking about not just the hemp, using Hempcrete, but I think the way he's integrated it with the timber frame. And I mean, as I look around here, he's got some really nice details that I haven't seen before. So that's pretty inspiring.
Okay. As far as the Hempcrete goes, anything about his methods that you, find interesting or inspiring or?
Well, I think this is, I understand that this is a spray installation that Cameron with Americhanvre did. And I mean, I like the window details where he's got the rounded corners, the bullnose corners with a wood lintel above. I mean, it's very classic. It's kind of very old world style, which personally that really appeals to me. Yeah. He's got some other really tasty plastering details on the interior walls that just show a lot of artistry, and you can just tell this is clearly a hand-built house, which to me is one of the things about these types of materials that just sort of tickles my fancy, because you can tell a real human being was really working this, and putting their heart and soul into it, and it shows. So it's really it's exciting for me to see this.
Nice. Are you still living in the house that you built in Asheville?
I don't live in one of my houses that I built. No.
Okay.
I was too busy doing things for other people, frankly. But so yeah, I'm still in the house that I've been in for a long time.
Okay.
But it's not a hemp house.
There you go.
I have one on the books, on my drawing board for a lot I have next door, but that probably won't be for a few years that I'll be able to do that.
Right. Everybody's got a dream hemp house in their head, right?
Yeah. Seems like.
First, could you introduce yourself?
I'm John Price.
All right, and we're here at your brand new Hempcrete house in Chester County, Pennsylvania, just south of Pottstown. Can you describe the house to me?
Well, it's a timber frame with a hemp exterior wall, timber structure, timber floors. It's slab on grade, and the heat is in the floor. It's a hydronic heat supplied by electricity, and the electricity is generated by solar panels.
So what was the motivation for using hemp in your design here?
Well, the first thing we looked at was spray foam, and then I found out all the problems associated with spray foam, like off-gassing, the environmental negatives to spray foam, I think, outweigh its benefit.
Yeah. And so the Hempcrete does that and more?
It's not as much of a resistance, but it has mass. So in the building code, they permit you to have a lesser R value if you have mass. And this has a lot of mass.
How was it working with the township on permits and everything?
They said no initially, and then I argued and presented the facts and showed them how it was actually better than what's permitted by the code, which at the time was light straw clay. But I understand the new code has this permitted by right.
What was their argument at first? Why did they say no?
Just because it's not permitted by the code.
Okay.
The 2018 IRC.
Okay, and so what was that fight like for you? How long did that last?
It lasted about a month. I had to draft a document that took the permitted light straw clay, analyzed it point by point, and compared it to Hempcrete. And in most respects, Hempcrete is superior to light straw clay.
Do you have a background in architecture or engineering? Or?
Engineering.
Yeah. Okay. Did you design this house yourself?
I did. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
With help from a friend who's an architect.
Okay. And I see you're not quite moved in yet, but when's that happening?
Hopefully this summer.
Okay. As far as you know, is this the only Hempcrete house in Chester County?
I'm pretty sure it is, and I think it was the first to be built in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. When did you break ground for that?
3 years ago, 2021.
Okay, so there's the Pennsylvania, what's it called? The PA Hemp House out in Western PA, but that was a refab, right? So this is the first new construction.
First new construction.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, congratulations. It's a beautiful house. So thank you.
Thank you.
I will have pictures from the Hempcrete house in Pottstown, as well as pictures from the workshop and a couple of videos on the show page for this episode at lancasterfarming.com. So that does it for the show today. Thank you for listening. My name is Eric Herlock. I'm the senior digital editor at Lancaster Farming Newspaper, the greatest agricultural newspaper in the world. Check us out online at lancasterfarming.com. All right, so that does it for me. I'm still working on a few bonus episodes from NOCO to get out to you. And I am headed to Washington, D.C. for that big agricultural event on the mall. So I think next week's show might have some interviews from down there in D.C. Okay, so until next time, I will see you in the newspaper.
Industrial hemp.
This episode of the Lancaster Farming Industrial Hemp Podcast is copyright 2024 by Lancaster Farming Newspaper, part of the Steinman Communications family. Today's show is written, recorded, edited, and produced by Eric Herlock. The music you hear throughout the show is courtesy of Tin Bird Shadow.
Merci, Lancaster Farming.